Hey guys, Chomsky here. Just wanted to give you a quick update on Balar the Lost from the previous video that is around of me talking about him when I first got him. I got him a 9-piece feral. Uh, the equipment's kind of janky, but uh, yeah, got him a 9-piece feral only because I want my team to do more damage, and he's putting out a boatload of debuffs. So uh, yeah, more damage the better, right? Got him in golden elixir. Uh, I could try. I mean, I not try. I could get him in the arachnid thing. Um, and that's pretty rad. I only have two have stock with it and Nell. So, if I get another, it's going to go on Balar. But until then, he, he's going to hang out with the Golden Elixir. Uh, Going back to it, yeah, going through his kit and then going back to why I built him out like that, okay? So, is A1, attacking one enemy, puts a shield on himself. It's proportionate to attack, so it is beneficial to build out attack on this guy. 75% chance. What accent was that? 75% chance to toss out poison sensitivity. Cool. Attacking one enemy on his A2, puts a leech on everybody, and then instantly activates all poisons. Sweet. Uh, on his A2, 3-turn cooldown. Uh, his A3 is really the showstopper here, and puts an increased accuracy on himself, so you don't need to build out that much accuracy. Putting out a decreased resistance on all enemies, sweet, 100% chance when booked. This is the big one. He puts 3 poison debuffs on the dude bro for 2 turns. Cool. If this attack is critical, which it will be, it's 3 more poison debuffs putting out there for 2 turns on all enemies. So basically 3 poisons for everybody. That is awesome. That's 12 debuffs right there, right? In addition to decreasing resistance, and that's nutty. Additionally, his passive, no turn, no cooldown on this one. Increases this champion's ignore defense effect by 1% for each poison debuff. Awesome. Cool. Give me more of those passives. Fills this champion's turn meter by 5% whenever a poison debuff is placed on an enemy. So, burr. This this guy is going to be going nutty, you know? So, and then I have him in Nature's Wrath. I only have a 3-star here, just to get more damage out there because he's putting out all those debuffs, right? Poison by itself is a decent, um, it's a decent debuff. It does some damage. It You don't go nuts with it. Um, it's okay. But once you really stack up blessings uh with with sets like Feral, dude, you can do some decent damage. And again, I talk about the equipment that I have on them. It's not nutty. This is really basic, mid not mid tier, but it's okay. Feral. I need to mess around with it. Like it still needs to get worked on. I could get more speed on them. Like dude's on a defense, flat defense, only because of speed and crit rate there. His attack is pretty low, so he's not doing that much damage. Again, he doesn't have nutty stuff, but this is I valued sets over stats, and luckily, I could glyph some stuff out. I really don't want to, especially on some of these things. It's not really the greatest. Like a crit rate glove, nah. But it does have double speed, and it does have crit damage and some sustainability, and it does have attack. So I mean, there's definitely some room for improvement here, right? Um, and I didn't go. I'm not going nutty for his path. I don't need another. I would love to go +2 on him. I would love to empower him just this way he goes faster, but that's not the case. Um, and right now I have him in dungeon. Like, I just put this on. Like, I've been messing around with the clan boss team, with them, but this is him in action, and this isn't really speed tuned. I have just the Sylvan Watchers. This way, him and Keldor could be best friends and enjoy each other's company and tell each other tales. And yeah, I mean, it's okay. It's hard. It's hard 10. What I could do is just really have him with stock and all the other poisoners, but I need an excuse to bust out Keldor, right? Um, and I realize that it's not fully accessible for everyone, but it's still fun to watch and play with. So we're just getting a just just watching this go through. A boatload of debuffs are out there, right? And that's what we want. Um, Again, another reminder: it's you can only have 10 debuffs on a champion. Um, so poisons kind of sucks a little bit, just because it does take up a lot. Now, if poisons stack, that would be awesome, but I that's not going to happen. So this is where we get kind of sloggy, and it's fine. Um, if you want a fast dragon team, that's cool. I I just want to use these champs that, admittedly, I snag. So you know, there there's gonna be some fun here, and we already saw that big hit earlier. Not necessarily. There you go. So about half damage, half life damage there, just with all those poisons and then exploding. So you could definitely have a lot of fun with them. And here we have decreased defense, you know, leech, poison sensitivity, weaken, decreased resistance out there. Like, we could definitely use more poisons for even more damage. So there's definitely elements here. Like, do I need Elva in here? Not really. Um, and it's okay. But yeah, really, him and Keldor just like BFFs, man, BFFs. So I I s- I dig him. I think he's neat. Uh, he's a chaos dude. Really just being like with poisons and poison sensitivity, as well as popping him off and decreased resistance. You can bring him into Chimera, but that debuff bar is going to get pretty stacked. So you just got to be really careful about that. So yeah, he could definitely help you out there. The way that I have him set up here, I have him pretty offensive. We want that crit rate because we want him to be critical. Um, you know, this just for sustainability. I think maybe if I was to redo this, you know, I think I'd still stick with it, because I do want bring it down. You know, I ideally with bosses, you want bring it down for your damage dudes. So that's a possibility. It's a default skill, so A1s are going to be abound, especially in those long, Hydra, Chimera, those types of bosses. So like getting more damage out there, ignoring defense, always the case. And then I have more or less just the accuracy build with him. He's putting a shield on himself. You know, more accuracy. Like, I don't really care about that, especially when I'm thinking about bosses. Like Exalt and Death, cool, man. Do that in, you know, other content, but not necessarily here. Uh, I have just more turn meter, more accuracy, bumping up the artifact sets. And again, he's in Feral, so I want that going nutty. Just more, I mean, yeah. I want all the chances for that. You could maybe take that away and put in lasting gifts instead. Just this way you could increase his shield, but like it's okay. I want to take away that 3% chance, uh, and then extending all those poisons. You know, so that's my build on him. And again, I have him in feral, just to explain what I'm doing here and why. Um, I want the accuracy. I want the speed. I want the damage. I don't really care about polymorph here. Um, Again, I'm not taking them into PvP. Like poisons in PvP, that's a choice. That's a decision that I don't want to do. But I guess you could. But yeah, feral. If you have 9 pieces, do that up. If if you don't have 9 piece feral, like you don't need to crank out the accuracy so much. Um, where are you? It's decreasing resistance is basically, uh, for the most part, the same as increasing your own accuracy. But what's cool about this is that other teammates could also be out there too. Um, and you're getting this too. So like, you're basically getting a quasi 100% chance of busting out debuffs on the enemy team. Uh, there's some Scott Steiner math tossed in there. Bear with me, but he's a cool champ. Is he worth like what was it, 22 sacreds for him? I don't think so. Um, Zavia's out there too. Um, you know, she's God, that's an old one. She does the poison explosion here. Um, she's all right. Like poison's just kind of off, man. Uh, it's off just because they're just weak damaging. It's weak damage is what I want to say. But again, getting a nice setup, getting a nice build, especially with Keldor out there. For those that are fortunate to have them, um, you know, i- ignoring defense, sweet. Uh, you know, I think it's really really neat, man. Um, so there's the buddy system. So if you do have Keldor, yeah, get going on Balar. Um, I haven't really busted him out and into Chimera or anything like that because he's kind of clunky out there with Sylvan Watchers, but it does make sense, especially with a Senna. But whatever. When I go back to the laboratory, Chomsky's laboratory, I can mess around with it. But at this point, I'm not going to mess around with it. So, too long. Fast forwarded all the way to the end. Balar, solid. Put him in feral. Have fun with them. Um, if you don't have a 9 piece feral, like he's attacking one enemy with this with the splash residual effects. So putting him in savage, putting him in merciless, um, you know, just to get more turns, like it's pretty sweet. As well as ignoring defense. Can you get 9 piece? Yeah, I mean if you can, that's great. Um, it's pretty solid, but if you can't, that's fine too. Supersonic's okay just to get those turns in there and change it up. That could be a potential there. So yeah. Otherwise, Savage just ignoring all that defense. Cruel could also be in there, but I wouldn't do any of the like none of the cursed or provoke or anything like that because he is kind of squishy. But yeah, he's a fun champ. Um, I've used him intermittently, and you know, I'll I'll, I'll lean into him just a little bit more. But that is the update. I maybe I'll do an update if I use him in Chimera. But yeah, until then, find me on Twitch, Noam Chomsky, and heckle. Have fun with me there. Bye, guys.